If you want an American luxury EV that doesn't break the bank, this may be the one. This is the Cadillac Optic, and today we're gonna find out if this is the Cadillac of EVs. We're gonna find out if it lives up to the hype and how it stacks up against the king of the EV market, the Tesla Model Y. PJ and I are in San Francisco this week, taking a look at the Optic, and we're gonna take you guys along for the ride.
All right, let's talk about the Optic EV, because when it comes to its footprint, about the identical footprint as the Equinox EV that we reviewed on this channel, about compared to the new Model Y. It's about 3 inches longer, it's about an inch taller, and the width is also identical at 84 inches. So it kind of gives you an idea of the footprint of this vehicle. But price point, that's really where it shines here, because $54,000 starting price, dual motor all-wheel drive, 85 kilowatt hour battery pack, that translates to 302 miles of range. So pretty impressive specs. And of course, aesthetically, you can't complain. It has that Cadillac EV vibe here.
Those dual motors net 300 horsepower and about 354 pound-foot of torque. 0 to 60 is around 5.9 seconds, which is in line with competitors in the same class and price point. The Mercedes-Benz EQB 350, for example, has a 0 to 60 of 6 seconds, while the Audi Q4 e-tron is 5.8 seconds. And the Model Y long range comes in at 4.8 seconds. I really love what Cadillac has done with the design on these cars, and they've carried that through with all their EVs. So we have the Lyriq, we have the Escalade, and you can see that they really bring that same design language with this black crystal grille up front. We have this etched design up here, forward-facing camera. I love that they have this gloss black on the vehicle as well. It kind of mixes up the color palette here and it wraps all the way around the vehicle. And you just get this athletic, sporty design built into this luxury SUV. And you can see that Cadillac design language right here with that sloped roof going over the windshield. It's really just, it almost looks like it's in motion, even though it's standing still right here. You have the gloss black going along it, a fixed roof glass over here, and then on the bottom again, see how the fenders just wrap around the side right here. So come over here to these lights, because I want to show you the attention to detail in here. You can see that Cadillac logo. They've really carried that design element. You have those stripes right here built into it, and then you even have the Cadillac right here, the logo built right into it. And you're going to see this design element throughout the vehicle, kind of in little Easter eggs inside of it. Come over here to this rear quarter panel, because they've done something really unique with this. So we know a lot of premium EVs now have included dual pane glass, which they've done, makes it quieter, more premium feel inside the vehicle, but they've added this design element to it where they've etched in this design into the first layer of it, so it won't chip, it won't fade, and it just gives this really cool feel. And it even carries through to these lights right here. It goes all the way through, and again, you see that Cadillac design built right in here. And what's cool about this is from the inside, you can see it as well. So get in there and take a look. All right, and then look at those speaker grills from the inside. They even carry off of that same pattern. Now come around to the back here and look at this aerodynamic design. You really actually need to see it from the side, because the angle of it allows the air to flow all the way through. This kind of overhangs, and there's no need for a windshield wiper back here. We have the brake light built right into it, and the lighting on here is so special. Look at these rear brake lights. So you can see there are like layers built into them, and just so much attention to detail. I love the direction that they're going with this. Now, those of you with a keen eye might have noticed that the charger is up front on the driver's side.
The charge port door, it is motorized. I like seeing that. CCS down below, that is your DC fast charging, J1772 up top. And positioning of this, front driver's side, if you're planning on using the NACS network via Tesla's superchargers, the vast majority of them really prioritize having the charger more on the rear end of the vehicle, which makes it easier to back in and plug in. This one though, if you're prioritizing using it at home more frequently, it does make it a little bit easier. So kind of have to keep that in mind for the benefits of each one. But charging rate for this, 150 kilowatts, that's peak charging rate. That translates to 79 miles of range in about 10 minutes time. 150 kilowatts isn't the fastest charging on the market. That's an area really I wish it was higher, but it is faster than some of the competition. The Mercedes-Benz EQB, for example, only charges 100 kilowatts. And then you compare that to the Equinox EV and also the Audi Q4 e-tron, and they're both at 150 kilowatts. So again, falls in line with a lot of what's out there on the market. But then the Tesla Model Y that has some of the quickest charging of the bunch, that's 250 kilowatt peak charging.
They also have some really unique design elements when it comes to their wheels. So you can get it in 20 or 21 inch like we have here. Now this is the Sport 2 trim, and it gives you that triangular design, but they also have a laser etched wheel where you get that Cadillac stripes built right into it, really beautiful designs, and then we have low resistant tires to help with the range. The Optic has a towing capacity of 1,500 pounds, and that's on the lower end of compact luxury EVs, where the Audi Q4 e-tron can tow 2,200 pounds and the Model Y can tow up to 3,500 pounds. So one thing missing with this is a front trunk. There's no front trunk in here. You can see there's a lot of internal components going on inside of here instead. Now, I wish they would bring a front trunk in here, but you do get a decent amount of rear storage. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we have going on back here. And of course, this video is not sponsored by Cadillac, but it is sponsored by Delete Me. I love technology and innovation, but unfortunately scammers love it too. And it's pretty scary out there right now, especially with things like Doge Quest doxing Tesla owners. Luckily, that website has already been taken down. But having services out there like Delete Me keeps you protected from prying hands getting on your personal info. And that's why PJ and I have both been using Delete Me since 2023, and I'm so glad that they're sponsoring today's video. Data brokers are constantly out there collecting huge amounts of personally identifiable info from places like public records and social media accounts. They aggregate, analyze, and sell your info to those with interest in this data, and just like that, you get on these lists. My recent report just came out, and you can see Delete Me's privacy experts reviewed over 5,400 listings. They found my personal info being sold by 9 different data brokers. They went ahead and removed every one of these. All this would have taken me over 50 hours to tackle by myself, but Delete Me actually continues scanning the web month after month and constantly removes any listings of me that data brokers are trying to sell. And you can go ahead and try it for yourself at joindeleteme.com/KimJava, and be sure to use the code KimJava to get 20% off all consumer plans. All right, let's get back to the video. So open it up, you just push on the bottom part of that Cadillac logo. It's gonna open up, and then with the seats up right now, we have 26 cubic feet of storage. There is a little bit of space on above both wheel wells, and then with the seats folded, you get 57 cubic feet. There's a little bit of storage down here in the sub trunk area. You can see there's a little bag right here, but it's not a super deep sub trunk, but it does give you that option. But what I do like about this is that there's different levels that you can put this. So let's go ahead and take it out right here, and you can see these fold up. It goes down there, and you can see that you now have a lower level. So if you have something really tall that you're trying to put back here, it gives you that option to be able to bring this down another level. So if you do have something really big that you're trying to haul back here, it just gives you that option to be able to fit it in this space. Also, there's 4 tie downs inside of here, 2 on each side. You have a 12 volt over here for charging, some light, and then we have 2 of those fancy AKG speaker grills on the back. Now, how does this compare? The new Model Y offers about 30 cubic feet with seats up. That includes a pretty deep rear well, and with seats folded, the Y nets use 72 cubic feet of storage. Now, on the inside is where this vehicle shines. Not only do the aesthetics give off Cadillac luxury vibes, but they're also sustainable. The door panels and the dashboard materials are made of 100% recycled polyester yarn, while around the cup holders, there's a beautiful blend of high gloss, but beneath is a pattern made of recycled newspapers, with some of the lettering even visible. This material is not actually leather, right?
No, it's a leather alternative. It's the same on the seating as well. You're responding to the customer's request on the leather alternative. So this is the premium material we use.
The entire vehicle is vegan then. Is there any like animal products? It doesn't look like there is anything, any leather. Is the steering wheel leather?
No.
The steering wheel's not leather either. Wow. This feels like leather. Windy and cold today, but we get to test drive the Optic. I'm excited. No push button start, as any new car coming out today should be. You just put your foot on the brake, turns on, we're ready to go. There's a head-up display in front of me.
It's compelling right away. First impressions getting into it is that you're into a very nice high-end EV.
Massaging seat is going right now. It is so stressful driving in the city, and I have to say I am thankful for all the safety features, because my seat is vibrating, it's alerting me. Even the mirrors are lighting up, letting me know someone's in my blind spot.
You've got bicyclists coming in on both sides of you at the same time.
It is, I mean, this is probably the hardest city to drive in, and that's where we're testing this out right now.
Now, does Super Cruise activate here on this surface street?
Honestly, I don't even know if I want to do it right here, because I just feel like...
I think you might have to be on the interstate for it.
Yeah.
Hands-free, unavailable, no road information. There you go.
Okay.
So yeah, I think it works on about 400,000 miles of roads in North America. That's expected to go up to 700,000 miles of roads, but surface streets like this in downtown San Francisco, but it's not going to be in every scenario because as you've talked about in the past, there's a vision-based approach, there's a radar-based approach, there's a pre-mapped approach. This has kind of a combination of radar and pre-mapped.
And driving around San Francisco, you see every approach here. We have Waymo, we have Tesla, we have them all. In terms of luxury, this definitely feels like a Cadillac. And we've already reviewed the IQ, and that's something I absolutely love, but that's the high end when it comes to Cadillac. That's their premium vehicle. It starts at $130,000.
Yeah, you can get 2 of these for the price of that and have 20,000
But
left
how do
over.
you think this compares overall to that?
Yeah, I was thinking about that when I first got into this vehicle because the interior touches, I almost prefer this to the Escalade IQ. And the Escalade IQ, of course, takes it into a whole nother level of luxury.
The IQ is nice.
Yes.
The IQ is really
This kind of fits more my vibe, though. When you look at the aesthetics that have kind of implemented recycling elements into it, it's got plastic bottles built into some of this, the fabrics. I don't know if this trim in the sport model has it, but we saw an example of newspapers that have been embedded into portions of the cup holder area, recycled newspapers. And even some of the verbiage, the letters are visible there in kind of the see-through cup holder element here. So those I find really fun, really unique. And those sort of stories that come with an EV specifically, I like sharing when passengers are in the car. So to me, I'm like, that resonated with me, and that's what I like about this particular EV.
Yeah, it feels incredibly modern inside of here. It's like a little more a younger demographic, more tech focused, and it's actually affordable. Like, this is what we could afford to buy, would be like a vehicle like this.
Yeah.
And like the seats are incredibly premium. They've added so many unique design elements inside of here. So we just hopped inside the Optic. I wanted to be able to drive it for you guys, take it to a better location outside of the studio. And of course we have the Golden Gate Bridge behind us, but we're in the middle of 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts going by. It says pouring rain. I think it was Mark Twain who actually said the worst winter he ever had was the summer in San Francisco. Well, we are definitely experiencing that today. But we're inside of a cool car, so we're gonna go ahead and review it for you guys. So second row, Cadillac says it is best in class for the rear passenger volume. Now that's for crossover SUVs in this segment. They claim 38 inches of headroom, so let's go ahead and measure it. Let's see what we get. Yeah, it's right about 38 inches. So that is good. The seat can go up more, but right now I have about 31 inches. You can see, and this is with my seat preference right now, but there's plenty of leg room right here. I have about 13 inches of space between the seat at the second row. Even in the center area right here, looks like there's about 9 inches. There's plenty of room for my feet in the second row as well. And then across, 55 inches across. So that's pretty wide right here. If you have car seats, that's something that you consider if you can fit 3 across. Let's take a look at these seats because they look like leather, but they're actually a vegan leather material. Again, they have a big sustainability theme throughout the vehicle, but you can see the attention to detail in here with the piping, the stitching, and they're perforated. They're actually heated and ventilated. Really easy for car seats. If you're using the latch system right here, it makes it so easy to use it. Armrest folds down. The armrest location, I'm not a fan of when the armrests go this way. I wish they would actually turn it this way in all vehicles, because when you put your arm here, guess what happens? You can't have a drink there at the same time. But again, I don't use the armrest that often because I usually have 3 kids back here. We have, again, car seats going across. And then there is a little pocket on the back of the seat. If you go to the back of the center console right here, we do have an option to be able to move your vent, your air around, but I will tell you, these don't feel quite as premium as some of the other features in the vehicle. They almost feel a little bit plasticky, like they could get broken off back here. But I love that you have the heated seats. There's 2 USB-Cs and a 110 volt. It's really nice to be able to have this in the vehicle if you want to plug in your laptop, or you know, your kids want to bring something with them, they can just plug it in right there. There's even a deep well underneath the USB-Cs that you could store something. The doors themselves have a lot of premium features going on. So going down to the door pocket over here, you can see that the entire pocket is lined, so nothing's gonna rattle around inside of here. And this material right here, it feels kind of like a felt, but it's actually recycled yarn. Up here, this material is made from recycled bottles. And then you'll notice that we have a speaker right here, an AKG speaker here. We have another one up here, another one in the back. There's 19 speakers inside of this vehicle. The hardware itself is from AKG, but the software is actually from Dolby Atmos. So it provides this almost 3D-like experience when you're listening to music. You can actually feel it throughout your body. It's insane. It's something that you almost have to experience for yourself to really feel it, because it's a different style of listening to music all in itself. I actually have another video I'm working on all about that, because it's kind of life-changing. One more thing I want to say is that you have this giant fixed glass roof, and it really gives you this illusion of having more space inside of the vehicle. They also have a motorized sunshade, so if you live somewhere that's hot and you don't want that, it's really easy just to close it with the touch of a button.
One thing I found interesting was this is actually not even leather. This is some sort of a premium synthetic leather, from the steering wheel to the seats, and it feels exactly the same. You know, we've had our Teslas that have vegan leather for a few years now, and the difference is really negligible in how it feels, how it looks, and just kind of brings that in as well. So I, again, find that more appealing to some.
Yeah, and then I will say, like, the seat backs right here, they have the stitching on them. The headrests are really kind of an interesting design element as well. These seats are so comfortable. They really hug your body. I love the way that the headrest design is just this modern look to it. They're perforated. We have piping on them. In some of the luxury trims, you even have that embroidered stitching that goes with the Cadillac logo. It brings in those stripes.
Which interior do you prefer? Something like this or the Refresh Model Y? Refresh Model Y also, you know, brings in the ambient lighting and has additional features that previous Teslas didn't have.
It's so hard. I really like them both. It's hard to fully compare. And this carries through around the car. It kind of wraps around. You see it throughout the vehicle. Even in this center console, we have this same material. And what I love about this is no fingerprints. I like a lot of this. So I love the massaging seats in here. You don't even have that as an option with Tesla. They would not bring that to the Model Y. You have vehicle to home charging inside of here. You don't have that with the Model Y. But you don't get a front trunk. The charging's on the front of the vehicle versus the back, which makes it hard to use, you know, the Tesla network.
Yeah, and the Y brings in rear infotainment now with a screen in the back, where this has, it's actually a 9K screen. I mean, the resolution, the peppiness of the screen here, the true blacks associated with it, I mean, it's as vibrant as it gets. So a lot of times when we look at other EVs and compare their tech to Tesla, that infotainment really shines. GM's really done a pretty good job when it comes to that. I think, you know, that the center screen responds and looks and has similar sort of performance metrics as you find in the Tesla screen.
And this carries through around the car. It kind of wraps around. You see it throughout the vehicle. Even in this center console, we have this same material. And what I love about this is no fingerprints. And going over to the doors again, because this is where you have your seat controls and your memory seats. You can load them up in here, but massage seats come standard in the Optic. Absolutely love that. But come over here and look at these door pockets, because they are so big. I wanted to show this to you because look, this is my water bottle. It fits back here, and then I have an entire umbrella, and it fits deep back here as well, and it's lined, so it's not going to rattle while I'm driving. I'm not going to hear it, but I love that space that you have inside of here, the utility, and it's incredibly just modern and open feeling, I think, because we have this glass roof. Let's go into this console a little more, because there's a little pocket right here. It's a spot to put your key fob. There is a key fob for the Cadillac. Here it is, but it fits perfectly in here. You have cup holders, pretty large cup holders. I imagine the Stanley would fit right in there. And then you also have your wireless charger. It's kind of a cool place to put it, right? And then the dial right here, which I find myself using more and more. This is something I thought, you know, coming from Tesla, why would you want a dial? But it's actually very useful, and I find myself using it all the time. And then you also have some storage inside the console if you do want to hide some things. There's a little tray right here for goodies, and then it goes down inside. There's 2 USB-Cs and a 12 volt inside of there for charging. I think this is a really good use of space. I actually think this is a huge plus to the Optic. If you're comparing it to the Model Y, I actually prefer this in a lot of ways. Now, in front of me, I have this 33-inch curved LED display, and it kind of just surrounds the driver. It's 9K resolution and extremely responsive. If I go into maps right here, you can see there's no latency issues or anything like that in it. And it's all touch screen. So even in front of me, I can switch between energy, maps, have that all right in front of you. And then there's also a head-up display in front of you. So you really can be immersive in your map if you're someone that likes that while you're driving. I personally do. Now you can see inside of here, we have Alexa, Google Assistant. You also have Waze, Amazon Music, and check this out, Wi-Fi hotspot built into the vehicle. Love that. You know that that is something I always look for. We can go into drive modes right here. You can see there's 4 different drive modes. My mode's really nice. You can customize the car exactly how you like it. And that's something that's really unique to these vehicles. You might like your vehicle to be a particular way, and you can really hone in on that in my mode. And honestly, I'm impressed with Google, just being able to talk to it, almost like an AI feeling to it already. I like being able to just, you know,
To
ask
interact
it.
with the vehicle?
Yeah,
Correct,
to interact
yeah.
with the vehicle. I think that's really a nice feature that they already have implemented inside of here. I think so many people get so focused on Tesla and Tesla, you know, with the tech, which is great, but there are other brands doing good things with tech as well, and I think this is one of them.
Google built in is pretty impressive. You know, we've touched on how AI has been implemented into vehicles, but for this one, for example, right now we're headed towards Sausalito, and if you were to say, hey Google, stop at a coffee shop that's en route to where we're going in Sausalito, and
yeah, I'll
you
pull
can
up.
see it.
Here's what I found along your route for stop at a coffee shop that's en route to where we're going in Sausalito.
There you go. So you've
Yeah.
got, you know, 4 different places, bakeries and cafes that you can navigate right to. So that interaction is pretty impressive, and it is beginning to be implemented into a lot of other EVs. But I don't think people realize that it's in place, available, and you know it's here and it performs pretty well.
I can even say, hey Google, my passenger's getting cold. Can you turn up the heat on their side?
Sure, turning up the temperature.
I mean,
and it just bumped up right here.
yeah. So like those little features are really nice when you're driving and you don't want to be playing around, you know, having to look and get yourself distracted while you're trying to drive. There's a head-up display. I've always been a fan of having that. Again, you don't have that with Tesla. I love the seat controls right here. I actually like having physical seat controls. A lot of people ask me about what a road trip is like in a vehicle like this. So you can actually just talk to your car. So you can say, hey Google, take me to Los Angeles.
Got it, Los Angeles.
All right, she's gonna go ahead and load that route for us. We can confirm it. Look at it, it's adding the charging stops in, and then you can go inside and see where your charging stops are going to be. Electrify America, you'll see your range will be at 22%, and you can actually filter out the charging spots based on the speed that you want the charger. So if you want to only go to chargers that have 350 kilowatts or higher, you can go ahead and filter it out. And this will help you adjust for road tripping. And you know, a lot of times you look in there with the map and you're like, oh, I'm still at 21%. I think I want to try to find another charger. I want to go a little bit further, or maybe I want to find a different kind of charger. Now, if you go over here to your steering wheel, you'll see that you have your Super Cruise over here, your heated steering wheel, your media controls are on the right side, and then the back you have a regen paddle if you like that instant regen. Now, this is where you're going to control your wiper stalk right here, and then your gear shifter is going to be on the right side. We also have the digital rear view mirror, like so many premium features that are in this vehicle, and I'm really impressed by that and the overall design of it. So the range is 302 miles. So Tesla definitely has it beat in terms of range.
Yeah, this is an 85 kilowatt hour battery pack. The new Model Y lands somewhere between 80 and 82 kilowatt hour battery pack, but that gets you about 330 miles of range. So that's kind of where you look at it and you're like, man, I wish this had the additional 20 or 30 miles. I will say, when it comes to GM vehicles and really a lot of other non-Tesla EVs we've tested, their range has outperformed their stated EPA numbers. So, you know, this says 300, you might be able to get 320, where Tesla says 330, maybe you get 315. So, you know, it's pretty close in that sense. The charging speeds on the lower end, I wish that was higher. but you kind of give and take. If that's not a priority for you, these seats that are, this aesthetically pleasing, I think there's 4 different colors that you can choose from and styles in the seating materials. Same thing for the trim pattern. So there's just a lot of options that you get, and I think it was 8 different paint colors that you can choose from as well. So those are what you have to look at when, the range and the metrics are a lot of times what people focus on, but there's so much more that goes into buying an EV, and all of those elements could tip the scale depending on the buyer.
So how do you feel about price? Because this starts at $54,000, and I feel like you're getting a lot.
You're in there, yeah. I think the Mercedes EQB is like $57,000. The Audi e-tron is like $58,000, $59,000. So a lot of these premium level European electric SUVs are in that upper and mid 50 tier. The Tesla Model Y, the outgoing model that's available right now, that's kind of the base model, is about $48,000. So it's cheaper. But then of course this one at 54 with the incentive, you're coming to around that range. Tesla with the incentive, you're coming down to the lower 40s. Tesla right now, their new model is not available in the base trim just yet. I think that'll probably be in the upper 40s or around $50,000 as well. Incentive at that point is probably going to be long gone.
Yes, right now this does still qualify for the incentives.
So you're probably going to pay $3,000 to $5,000 more for this car than the Tesla, but $3,000 to $5,000 less for this car than the EQB Mercedes or the e-tron Q4 Audi. Yeah. So you're kind of in the middle, like you said.
I think though you get a lot more in a lot of ways for this vehicle. If you're looking at premium features, this offers stuff that you can't get with some of those other vehicles. You can't get with Tesla.
Yeah.
So for me, like massaging seats is something that I've always wanted. I've always wanted Tesla to bring, and we don't even have that in our Model X.
Yeah.
And then we have it in this. Vehicle to home charging. Like those are things that are important.
That's huge, and that's what a lot of people thought vehicle to home was going to come to the new Teslas, being that they're such a tech leader.
Yeah.
And it's only there right now for the Cybertruck. But that's where the Cadillac EVs really shine. I believe every single one of them offers vehicle to home. So this basically becomes like 7 power walls for your garage. If you want to back up power for your house.
But it's always a matter of like what's important to you, because for some people they're going to say, I want full self-driving experience. I want that completely robo-taxi. I want to be able to use my car as a robo-taxi, make money off of it. That's why they might choose Tesla. To other people, they're like, okay, I do like having the safety features and having a hands-free drive experience, which I should go ahead and put it into right now.
We're going through the Golden Gate Bridge right now.
Look at this. I still like to keep my hands on the wheel just in case. So for a lot of people, this is all they want, is they want to have those safety features, but they don't necessarily want a completely autonomous vehicle. They don't care about that.
Yeah.
And then they want the luxury experience. Sorry, I'm going to be getting off here in a second. So it's a matter of preference of what's important to you. Are you going to be using it with the family? Are you going to be road tripping with it? Where are you going to charge it from? If you're charging it from home primarily, having the charger up front is actually a benefit. But if you're going to be using the Tesla network, then this might not be the car for you, because you have to basically take up 2 spots with where that charger is placed.
On the older charging stations, exactly. Yeah. So the modern V4s, they're situated to where you're able to
Not all of them, but they are starting to go that direction. Yeah. All right, let's get out of this storm, PJ.
We're getting hit.
Do you know where we're going?
Sort of.
Program it?
Yep, it's in there.
It's in there? Okay. Yeah.
Well, we're getting the off-road, muddy, bumpy road feel for it. Suspension feels pretty good to me. It's not air suspension, but I've seen modern touches on coil suspension that perform so well that you kind of question if it's air suspension.
If I was going to trade in our Model X, I would consider buying a Cadillac. I would probably look at the IQ. I would look at the Optiq. If I had a Model 3 and I wanted something different, this would be the vehicle I would recommend to a lot of people out there. It drives really well. I think the tech's nice. It's so luxury feeling. You get so much for that price point. What do you think?
I mean, I'm in all the way, absolutely. At $54,000 base price, I think that's compelling. You bring in, currently still in place, the $7,500 federal credit, so that tax credit brings you down to the high 40s. I think at that price, for what you get here, it's as good as it gets when it comes to premium luxury EVs that are, American EVs. So to me, it's a no-brainer. And the aesthetics, all of them, when it comes to the IQ, the Optiq, the Lyriq, the aesthetics of the whole Cadillac design language for its electric vehicles is, to me, the most beautiful EVs on the road. So
really? So what do you think? People want to know Model Y or Optic?
So personally, with the refresh Model Y that we just picked up, I'm really excited about driving that vehicle, and it has really a lot to do with the tech, the full self-driving software, because the latest iterations, Super Cruise really is comparable to autopilot. So an autopilot performs really well in most scenarios. Super Cruise is exactly the same way. Full self-driving takes it another step further, where you have access to this basically on surface streets, and also performs really well in recent iterations. So I lean in towards more the future tech aspect of that. I like the native supercharging, the NACS, because I know if I want to road trip with it, I don't have to worry about the adapters. I like the placement of the charge port being back in the rear versus the front driver's side. Those, for me right now, are still favoring the Tesla, and the ecosystem all really plays well together as well.
But GM has an awesome ecosystem, and I feel like I am a little more bougie than you.
You are a little more bougie.
And I lean into some of these luxury features, and I think that I would be ready to go to Cadillac. There's a lot of things in here that I absolutely love. Those massaging seats, yeah. I love them. And then the price point gets me, because you know, if I can get, I think the Vistic could be my next car, honestly. That's something that I'm definitely looking forward to. But let me know if you guys think that the Optic is the Cadillac of EVs, or is it all about Tesla still? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. It really helps our channel out so that we're able to go on these types of trips, review cars for you guys, and give you the highest quality entertainment and reviews out there.
So we've got 50-mile-an-hour winds here right by the bay in San Francisco. Kim's gonna...
I still need to talk about the inside of this car, so I'm gonna crawl to the second row. That's how we're gonna do this.
We opened the door and the door slammed right back in our face.
All right.
A booty shot.
Well, that's for the extra, that's for Patreons.